Hello, and from Evidence here, and today we're going to talk about 5 things that are still missing in the Fallout 4 survival mode. So it's quite obvious that Bethesda is heading in the direction of somewhat reality with their new survival mode, which is currently still in beta, but here are 5 more things that, well, will probably increase the reality in this game mode. You might know a few of those things from earlier Fallout games like Fallout New Vegas and Fallout 3, but in my opinion, they're somewhat missing in either way Fallout survival mode or Fallout 4 entirely, but if they were there, they would very likely add up to more reality and way more difficulty. So the first thing to mention, first improvement for the survival mode would probably be weapon and armor conditions. So this was something which was already there in Fallout 3 and Fallout New Vegas. And it was something, the more you used your weapons, they would start degrading, and this will cause them to not be as accurate as they were, to not do as much damage. The same count for armors, so the more you use them in battle or whatsoever, the less they would be thresholding, and well, that's something that's, in my opinion, still missing, at least in the Fallout 4 survival mode, because it would give yourself a new reason to collect armors and weapons, not just to collect them or to scrap them or to sell them or to store them in a junk drawer in a settlement. No, they would be there for you to be able to repair your gear. The next thing I would like to see in Fallout 4 survival mode would probably be the so-called de-escalation. So this is actually a feature which was already there all of the time in Fallout 4, which is when you start a fight and you put down your weapon by pressing R or just the reloading button for a longer time, it would sometimes happen that the other people would then start being peaceful towards you, and this would just be de-escalating. But this feature doesn't always work, it's actually quite rare that it works, and for me it would just be something very realistic to add to the game, because it would just make it feel way more realistic. Not everyone is going to kill you immediately. So the next thing I'd like to see in the new Fallout 4 survival mode would probably be different ammo types. So this is something I was already criticizing about Fallout 4 in total, that it had no different ammo types like Fallout New Vegas. You can just like find legendary weapons which might have explosive ammo or incendiary ammo, which is just not realistic at all, because the effects from the bullets, they come from the bullets and not from the gun, so it kind of is a little bit strange here. And this is just, I don't know, something like, I think it's quite impractical as well, because in Fallout New Vegas you had one gun and different ammo types. So if there was an armored enemy, you could just swap to armor piercing ammunition, and if there was a not armored enemy, you could just swap to standard or hollow point ammunition, which was, in my opinion, super realistic, and also like it was just there, and would even add some even more difficulty to the survival mode, because now ammo actually weighs something. If you then have to carry around even more different ammo types, this would just make it more difficult, but way more realistic. Yeah, in my opinion, that's something that's generally missing in Fallout 4, and especially missing in the Fallout 4 survival mode. And well, when already talking about ammo types and ammunition, what about having an ammo reloading bench? This was already something, again, which was there in Fallout 3 and Fallout New Vegas, and it made the game, well, at least a little bit more realistic, and it gave a reason to collect shells and lead and, well, powder and whatsoever. In my opinion, you already have to cook your own meat, you have to make your own medicine, whatever, so, well, making your own ammunition would just make it a little bit more realistic. And that's, well, basically what the entire video is about, how to make the Fallout 4 survival just a little bit more realistic and give it a little bit more cool things and features. So the last thing I'd like to talk about is actually something which is already in the game itself as a skill, the maximum charisma skill, so-called Intimidation, with which you can actually intimidate human beings in the game that they won't kill you anymore. In my opinion, this is super realistic, and the problem about it is that you need 10 points in charisma plus at least 1 skill point for the skill itself, up to 4, I guess, to have the skill at maximum level. And in my opinion, it's already enough if you just had the first level of intimidation as a base in the game, and not as a skill which you have to unlock, because it's just realistic that people won't just fight to the death if you hold a weapon to their head. So it kind of makes it more logical, more realistic if you can intimidate people with your weapon and they won't kill you anymore. They will be peaceful, because right now every enemy, as long as they don't have any of those skills, they will just fight to their death. That's a little bit unlogical, but I mean, of course you could say they're on cams and whatsoever, but still. Anyways, those are the 5 things which are, in my opinion, still missing in Fallout 4 survival mode. If you know any more things, then please do let me know in the comments down below. I'm already looking forward to reading them. Yeah, anyways, if you enjoyed this video, then please leave a like. Anyways, thank you for watching and have a nice day.